Once there was a crazy little tech guy named Flabishum. Flabishum worked at a mystical school in the mystical city of Warrioropolis, the mystical forest of Warrioropolis Forest Reserve. He lived in a small hut on the outskirts of that mystical city. He lives by himself with his mystical Sasquatch named Sas, who is a prize performer in a freak parade. When Flabishum is not working, he spends his time milking his Sasquatch, dreaming of finding his grotesque soulmate. One day, Flabishum discovered that Sasquatch was missing. He went on a rampage at his mystical school, hitting his 5-year-old students. After striking his last student, he went shrieking throughout the school, proclaiming someone had taken his Sasquatch. He searched the city high and low. He even looked under his little toe. The Sasquatch didn't know where he was or where to go. Then a thought came upon his head. What about my old friend Flappy Fred? Fred would know where I should go. What ho? A foe. He looked down at his feet and saw fresh meat. He picked out the muscle and bit it with the scare. To his surprise, it tasted rather fair. After he ate his meal, he continued his journey to Flappy Fred's shed. Back in the city, Flabishum, crying in a corner because he has not found his little hairy Sasquatch. While he was crying, a thought came to him. What about Flappy Fred? He will be able to help me. So Flabishum went off on his own journey to Flappy Fred's. Flappy Fred was making a fresh batch of his famous bran muffins. While making his muffins, he was dreaming about his annoying friend Sas, and how Sas thought he liked him. Speaking of the devil, Sas was outside of his house singing to the birds. Flappy Fred invited Sas in the house and had a couple bran muffins set out on a plate. Fred took one of the muffins and put sleeping pills in them. As Fred was finishing up with the muffin, he went outside to invite his old friend inside for a muffin/tea party. What Sas didn't know is that Flappy was planning on killing him because he had an affair long ago with his wife, who died after this sexual encounter. Sas has no idea that Flappy Fred knows about the incident. As Sas sat down, Flappy set the drugged muffin in front of him and said, "Eat, my old friend, eat well. There's plenty of muffins to go around." Woo-ha-ha. Flabishum arrived at the house, and to his surprise, he saw his Sasquatch happily eating muffins and conversing with Flappy. While inside, Flappy spots Flabishum outside and invites him inside kindly and offers him a muffin, which he kindly accepts, not knowing that Flappy is secretly planning to slaughter them both. It was getting late, so Flabishum suggested that him and Sas should start to go home, but Sas was ever so tired to move. So Flappy bursted out with an idea. "You two should spend the night here. A slumber party, as a matter of fact. We can stay up all night and paint each other's toenails black as death. Pink. As pink as pretty flowers." As he grinned his creepy grin, Sas cried out, "But I'm tired." So then Flappy burst out with anger and said, "Then go to bed, you incompetent freak." Sas went to bed with a tear in his eye, while Flabishum wasn't experiencing the drug at the moment and decided to stay up with Flappy. Flappy was getting impatient on how slow the drug was working on Flab, so he took a spoon and scooped out his eyes with a thrust. Next came his tongue, which he cut off with a pair of safety scissors. Flab cried out with pain, but Sas could not hear him since he was knocked out from the drugs. Flappy took duct tape and covered Flab's mouth with it so that he choked on his own blood. The next morning, Sas woke up with a little yawn and felt a wet sensation on his left side. He cried out, "Flabishum, why have you pissed yourself?" But when Sas turned his head to say good morning, he noticed that he had no eyes or tongue. It was just a head. "Flabishum, are you okay? Do you need a doctor? I know a very good one down the road from the mystical hut." Flappy couldn't help but overhear the discussion and bursts in with a sawed-off 12-gauge behind his back and says, "I know a good doctor." "Oh, thank God! Where is it, good friend?" Sas proclaimed. As Flappy pulled the shotgun from his back, he screamed, "In hell with my cheating wife, you inconsiderate bastard," as he put 5 shots in Sas's head. The end.
Violent.